Coach, just going into Big 12s, where do you think your team is at compared to maybe years past, or kind of where you expected them to be?
Well, I'm always excited for the Big 12 championship. It's always an event that, and especially when we get to host. So we love running at home and having that opportunity. I'm a little more anxious. We did COVID testing this morning. We'll find out, by tomorrow morning, everything. And then I have till noon to click the button. So I'm a little bit anxious on knowing if I have everybody or not, if I've got to make last minute changes. That's a very different variable that we've never had. And so, I'm ready to go. I hope the kids are. I hope we're ready to step up. I think we're going to have a really good meet on the men's side to win. And I think our women to be in the top three, we're going to have a really good meet also. This quick interview, it's over, huh?
I see if anyone else had a question, but for you, what are some of those events that on each side are going to be really key for y'all to finish where you want to?
Yeah, I think on paper, what's showing before the meet, we don't have any of our multi-event guys that competed and have a mark. And we will have, those guys going. So in other words, that needs to be a good event for us. I think on the men's side. And then I think we also need to, we're going to have a lot of quality out of the, the 600, the 800, the mile, the 1,000, the MR, things like that. We just got to have a good meet. But I think the variables are the ones that are who's going to step up in those events, long jump, triple jump, high jump, those things too on the field events. We've got a lot of guys that are sitting there at 6th and 7th and 5th. And I think the key to us winning the meet is going to be how those guys do.
Quick question. Do you have an update? I don't know if you've re-updated us on Corey. Will he be able to go this weekend?
On Courtney?
Courtney, sorry.
Yes. Yeah. No, I've been holding that off, but he's not going to compete, which is a big blow, in all honesty. I mean, he's leading the conference in both events, but we've got to take care of him and do what's right, what's best for him. So that puts a little more pressure when we take him
out. Following up on that, Wes, what was the diagnosis and what's his time frame for recovery?
Well, we're not totally positive, but we think, he's got a tear. He's got a hamstring pull. And it's probably a 4-week process before we get him back. So he'll miss the Big 12 and the national meet. So, to start it off pretty negative, that's a big blow. But we've just got to do what's best for him. I'm not going to put him in that situation. I think he'd try to run if I let him, but he's too valuable. He's a sophomore eligibility, and we just got to do what's best for him.
That's what 20 points out of your sprints plus our key relay.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. How much are you doubling guys or even using them in 3 events? What's the plan?
Yeah, most people will that are in that position will double. I don't know about anybody tripling. This is pretty quality when we get to those situations. And so for a distance runner to double or triple, or double is big enough, and much less triple, I think that's going to be tough. I think there's the possibility if we don't have a prelim in something, then we could do that, but we won't know that until Thursday evening probably. So we'll make that call at the last minute, but we're planning on doubling a few kids, but not tripling.
What all middle distance races are there going to be?
Well, you got the 600, I call it, and then the 800, the 1,000, the mile, the 3K, the 5K, and the distance medley. A lot of different events indoors.
Which you've said in years past that did not favor you, but this year you're a little. Is it fair to say you're a little more more capable in those events?
No, I think you're right. I think we are more capable. The other variable in the meet that no one knows probably or is talked about that worries me more than any other than my team. I want to take care of my team first. That's my number one worry. But Oklahoma State and Iowa State, they're going to the national cross country meet, which is not until the Monday after nationals for indoors. And they had a meet yesterday for cross country with all their top distance runners. So my biggest concern is they're not going to show up and run any of those guys at the meet. And then that plays into Texas with the depth they have in the 3, the 5, and even the mile and the 1,000 and things like that, because we could win things, but if we don't have some help, which is what happened to us last year at Iowa State with Oklahoma State not running, well, those are my biggest concerns. And I have no idea what they're going to do, but I know they're not going to do much.
So how would you handicap the who you think kind of the top 3 or 4 teams are in men's side and top 3 or 4 teams in the women's side?
Texas, us, and K-State, and probably on paper in that order. And then on the women's side, it's definitely Texas. I don't see anybody coming close to them. And then K-State and us. Oklahoma will be up there a little bit on the women's side too. But, there's other teams. Oklahoma men can score some points, but I think that the 3 teams are Texas, K-State, us, and then on the men and the women, definitely Texas. They've got a lot of 60, 200, 400. The sprints, they're dominating right now. So I'll be glad to get outdoors when I get my quarter milers and my what I call my COVID seniors that got to come back. We'll be a different team.
And so back on your middle distance guys individually for a moment, what all races are you planning to run each of those guys in? Say all those guys that ran on the DMR last week. What individual? What do you kind of have them entered in? Expecting to enter them in?
I haven't done it yet, and actually, we don't enter till tomorrow. So I'd prefer not to say that because if somebody hears this, they're gonna know what we're doing. Gotcha. But they'll be spread out to answer your question. From the 6 to the 8,000 mile and go from there.
I haven't asked you recently, but Alfred Shawanza, how's he doing in his rehab?
Doing really good, but will not run this week. He's not had quite enough time. He had a pretty severe pull. He had a good workout this week, Monday and Tuesday, but not ready to step on the track and compete like he was. We would have loved to have had him in that 1,000 and probably a DMR if he'd have been able to run. But we're going to hold him out too and try to get him ready for the outdoor season.
Trying to think, he ran in 1 or 2 meets, right?
Yep, he ran really just 1 and was about to run in the second one when he heard it.
Is there any way to would he be eligible for any medical hardship or not?
Well, he would, Don, but the NCAA is not counting this indoors anyway. So
okay, yeah.
It
doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. That's correct.
Talked about Texas and Kansas State being pretty much 2 of those teams that are going to be right up with you, especially on the men's side. Is it beneficial to have seen kind of those teams on this track already this year, so the kids kind of know or have kind of seen some of these people that are going to be those main competition, those main people they have to beat out for key points?
I don't think so. These kids, man, they're on the internet constantly. They know every kid at Texas and every kid at K-State, and especially in their event. And most likely they've run them before. I don't think it's really an advantage. And probably it's been a bigger advantage for them to be able to run on our track more, K-State and Texas this year due to COVID. And so now K-State's only come once and Texas once, but they're very familiar with this facility. And K-State came the 12th and 13th and did very well. So
who are some of the other younger performers that we should be watching out for that could make an impact during this, that didn't perform well maybe early in the season, but are peaking at the right time?
Yeah, on the women's side, I think Lexi Price and and she's really done well. It's not like she hasn't done well, but I really have been so excited about her and Sylvia Schultz. They'll both be running in the same event, and they've done very well. But they're a big key on our women's side. And then Gabby McDonald, needs to step up in the hurdles and some of those people. I think our mainstays like Seasons and those people, Kaylee Johnson, they're expected to do well, but I don't think we've got really many young freshmen on the women's side. Now on the men's side, I think our key in the jumps, like with Jalen Seals, I mean, he's sitting there about third or fourth in the long jump, and he needs to do better. He's sitting second or third in the triple jump. He needs to hold service, and do well there. But I think Jacoby, the sprinters, when we take out Courtney, our sprint guys need to step up. Ashton O'Connor and Jacoby, they've got to get in the finals in the 60 and the 200. And so they're going to be a big key of whether we score anything in those areas. I feel pretty good about, as Don mentioned, our middle distance guys. I think they're going to get in there and do well. But some of those people have not stepped up this year yet. And Jaquan Hogan in the triple jump and the high jump, he needs to have a big meet for us to have a chance.
Going back to, you talked about guys having to step up with Courtney out. Is that something that you have to physically talk to them about? Or are they pretty good about kind of realizing, okay, that's a major point scorer out. Like, it's on us now.
Yeah, they know it. I mean, I'm trying to not put too much pressure on them. I mean, they want to do well, and those guys realize that, it's up to them to pull some slack. And I think they've really been focused to do that. I mean, we had a good little meet with them. They didn't run spectacular last week, but they ran well. And I think they're feeling a little more confidence and going into this meet. And, and that 60, man, it's a blink of an eye. So if you make one little mistake, but it's also an opportunity, if somebody else makes a mistake, you can move up quickly. And then the 200 is just, get out there and get it done. So I feel good about them, better at any point of the season right now.
Wes, I forgot what was it that set back Jacoby and Ashton? Jacoby was a COVID sit out, right?
Yeah. Ashton had a calf that was really bothering him. And so it just took a long time for it to get well. And he got COVID as soon as he got back. And Jacoby did too. Both of them have had COVID, and both of them have been set back three weeks with that once they got back from Christmas. And that's the biggest obstacle right there.
You said, circling back for just a moment to the schools that are running cross country, you said Iowa State, obviously, you said you think they're kind of pointing more toward cross country.
Yeah.
Did you say Oklahoma State also, or who all do you think maybe?
I know they are. I mean, they have told us we are bringing some kids to run, but we're not running all of them, and we're only running one race. So that really, really affects the meet when they won't show up and put all 8 to 10 to 12 of their good guys in a meet. So, I really, until I see the entries, I have no idea what they're going to do. But if they don't do much, it's going to be very, very tough.
And I'm sorry, you said Iowa State told you that, or Oklahoma State told you that?
Both of them have said that. They're going to get a trophy for cross country. And when you have a meet on Tuesday of this week, that tells you a lot.
Yeah. So just those two then, you think, primarily, or anybody?
Yeah. Shut down they're not doing any cross country, and the rest of K-State, Kansas, us, we're all focused on indoors. So I'm anxious to see what they're going to run. I think they're going to run a few good guys, but I'm just worried they're not going to run very many of them.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll know tomorrow afternoon.
All good?
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
We're going to put Ruth Usoro in here right now. Ruth, welcome. We're ready for you whenever you're ready to turn your camera on.
Okay, please just give me a second.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we have questions for Ruth. She is the reigning Big 12 champion in the long jump and triple jump and the reigning high point scorer from last year. Questions for Ruth. Don, you want to start?
I guess, Ruth, how have you felt since you got the big jump early in the triple jump? How have you felt about your training schedule since and your competition schedule since you did not maybe have pressure once you had that first 46-foot jump? You kind of had clinched your spot in nationals. How have you felt about I guess the last month?
Hello, everyone. So, yeah, I felt very confident, and I'm just working on my technique and every other thing that I need to work on. I felt like more confidence in myself that I can actually do more by the grace of God. So that's how I felt ever since the jump came. And just taking care of my body, trying to stay healthy, trying to get ahead with schoolwork and every other thing that I need to get ahead on. And just being balanced in everything.
Yeah. Since you have not had to work, since you have not had to compete in every meet, how does your body feel now in terms of freshness?
My body feels great in terms of freshness. My body feels great and ready to go. I feel relaxed. I feel free, yeah, and loosed. So yeah, I feel great. I've not been competing. I compete every other week. So my coach hasn't been able to just take me out because I'm also treating myself, my SI joint and everything. So I have to take it easy also.
What kind of competition do you expect in the triple jump and the long jump this weekend?
I expect a very tight competition. Yeah, that's why it's called a competition. Everyone in Big 12, every athlete in Big 12 is so talented and very, very hardworking and aggressive. The girls are so aggressive. So I'm looking forward to a competition. I'm looking forward to, being heads on with everyone, also fighting for a spot at the same time, and also being relaxed, being aggressive, being confident. So I'm looking forward to big jumps, not from myself, but from also every other person out there, because everyone that comes out there is really good and talented also.
What has Monet Nichols, what has her addition meant for y'all's group?
What is her what?
What has her addition to the team meant to y'all's jumps group?
Monet Nichols is a very, very talented jumper, an athlete also, and a great person in general. And she coming into our group just, pushes us to become better, pushes us to reach for greater heights, knowing that we can also do, we can do all things. We can do everything through God, through Christ, and knowing that we can keep pushing ourselves at each point, each and every time, to be better athletes, to do better, and aim for progress each time. So her addition has made us aim for higher things, have higher goals, and know that we can achieve anything when we set our mind to.
Speaking of aiming for progress each time, when you yourself have jumped 46 feet at least twice, if I remember correctly, how do you progress beyond that, since those are rare distances to achieve? How do you improve on those?
So do you mean 46 in the triple, or because I'm still trying to get used to feet?
Right. Yes. Yes, that's what I mean. But those distances for the triple are very, very impressive. So and uncommon. So what aspect of your triple jump can you improve to go even further?
The aspect of my triple jump that I can improve is working on my step phase, because I started the triple jump when I got to South Plains. So I didn't really have the background training or every technique I needed to have. And it was when I got to Texas Tech, that's when Coach Thomas worked on my technique and everything. So I still have a lot to work on. So I have to work on my step phase. And I'm just doing some mental work, seeing myself getting farther than the distance I had before. Just doing some mental work, working on what needs to get done, and what I need to work on, and also staying healthy and listening to my coach, whatever he wants me to do, and being a coachable athlete. So everything I just said right now is what will help me improve or become a better athlete now and also in the future, to get better distances or greater distances.
Now, I believe you've told us before, but can you remind me, before you got to South Plains or Tech, your primary events then that you did were what?
My primary event were the 100, 200, and the long jump.
Okay. So, have you ever asked Coach Kitley to run the sprints?
Yes, I did the 60 last year. And I was gonna do it at conference, but I didn't want to do it at conference because last year I wanted to just concentrate on the long and the triple. So yes, I also did the sprints. And I also love to still run outdoors, but for now I just want to keep my focus on what's important right now.
When did someone first tell you, or when did you first realize that the triple could be a very good event for you?
So my long jump coach back home usually tell me that. He tells me that every time, and I just always tell him I'm okay with the 3 events I have, which is the 100, 200, and the long jump. And I didn't want to add more because it's also mental work. So I just wanted to stick with that. But when I got to South Plains, the first time I tried triple jump with South Plains was at nationals. So my coach then was like, we need more points to win for my school, for South Plains. And he decided to put me in the triple. And I said, okay, I'll just try this, because back home we usually do the hopping, like 100-meter up, just to get our legs stronger, because we didn't really have access to weight rooms. So we did lots of hops in like a football field back to back. And we did lots of steps in like a football field back to back. So I was like, okay, it's just a hop and a step and then jump. Okay, I guess I can actually do that. So the first time I did the triple jump was at nationals, and that was at Texas Tech. We had a JUCO nationals at Texas Tech, and that was when Coach Thomas saw me and told me that I'll be a very good triple jumper, and that's what he just sees. Well, I never saw that about myself. All I just knew was I wanted to just be, good at long jump. But later on, Coach Thomas was able to build up my confidence even at practice, and made me understand that I can be a great triple jumper if I just, be confident with my speed and just set my mind on it. And I never knew I could be a great triple jumper, not until when I got to Tech, because I was literally just playing with it and just, catching some fun before I got to Tech. But now I know, and the fun is still there. So I'm just going along with it. So that's how I got into triple jump.
Which coach at South Plains was it that you said entered you in the triple jump first?
Coach Eric Vance.
Coach Vance, yeah. Okay. And you referenced your coach back home. Who is that?
That's Coach Olu Sule.
Okay.
Ruth, coming into this Big 12's kind of defending champ in those two events, having that big jump under your belt. Are you good about kind of blocking out the fact that, you know, you kind of have the target on your back? You're the girl that everyone else wants to beat, or is that something that helps motivate you?
Yeah. Yes, that motivates me, and that also motivates every other person to, you know, to also keep doing better. So going out there with all the titles, I just drop them behind and just let Ruth herself just compete and have fun and just compete with myself, because I am my biggest competition. No one else. I'm just going to get better than I was last time or last meet or last year. So I just try to shake off every pressure and every eyes that are on me and just focus on what needs to get done.
And I guess for you, obviously outside of winning the events, that'd probably be pretty good as well. What would constitute a successful weekend for you?
What constitutes a successful weekend for me is just placing all my trust and all my strength in God, because that's where it comes from, and just putting everything in His hands and just let Him just take control like He always do. So He has always done that, and that's what I'll just keep doing. That's what I do all the time. So yeah, outside from every other thing, God is my main source and is the one I lean on to. So that's it.
All good?
All good.
All right. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.
All right. We're going to put Gabe on. It says we have running out of time. I guess this is why I should use Dowdy's account, because I think they have a pro one, but we've got about 9 minutes. So I'm going to have Gabe hop on here and we'll get questions for him. Gabe, of course, school record holder and weight throw last couple of weeks. I think he's like 5th in the country right now, but he narrowly lost last year. But now he's coming back as, I believe, the top ranked one in the Big 12. Let me check that for you. Yeah, so he'll come in as the top ranked one by 6 full feet over the next dude. So he'll be looking to avenge last season. So anyway, got about 8 minutes. I'm gonna let Gabe in right now. What's up, Gabe? We're ready for you whenever you get the camera on.
Okay.
Let's start with, all right, questions for Gabe. Let's start with Sean.
Gabe, you've had a very successful year. What is your goal to not only win the Big 12, but what are the goals for you and your team?
Well, one thing for me, like you just said, obviously I want to win Big 12s individually. That'd be a great accomplishment. But one thing I've always wanted to do, as long as I've been doing track and field, is to win a team championship. And I think we have a really, really talented team. And I think we can really get it done this year.
Do you feel like you still have some more in the tank that you haven't put out your best throw yet for the year? Or do you feel like you're peaking at the right time?
I feel like I still have plenty in the tank. We've been trying to work through things all year. Throwing is something that you never stop learning. Like, you never stop learning no matter what level you're at. And, you know, especially in an event like the weight throw where it's very physics based, you don't really have time to think about a whole lot of things. So you've been having to go out there and pretty much do trial and error and learn on the fly this whole year. But I think things are starting to click and we're starting to get a better understanding. And I think we're going to be right where we need to be come nationals.
Obviously, Jeremy had referenced it. We're coming up just short in this event. Last time you were in this situation, how much does that motivate you and kind of push you forward in terms of wanting to bounce back and win this event this year?
Oh, it has to motivate you. Like you said, coming from last year, coming second, it was tough. You know, it's always tough to come second because you're so close to getting that title. But when that happens, you just got to take the good and the bad, and you got to look at the person that came ahead of you and see how, you know, how good they feel and how happy they are, and you want that feeling for yourself. So that just pretty much drives you to make sure that you do everything you can to put yourself in a position to feel that same thing the next year.
And obviously early in the season, like any, you were probably working out some kinks. You know, you hadn't thrown in a competitive arena for a while. When do you think you hit your stride and kind of hit that point where you're like, oh yeah, like I'm in the groove in these events?
I mean, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you, Coach and I work very hard to make sure that we're ready for each competition, but I haven't really felt that yet, in the sense that, you know, obviously we've been having some success with my throws, but I don't think I've hit that big throw or had that big series that made me feel like, okay, we've arrived yet. And you know, there's no better time to do it than at the championship meet. So I mean, I think that's still ahead for us.
Gabe, I was curious, the fact that, if I remember correctly, this year you threw 71 feet 1 week, then 72 feet the next week, then 73 feet. How have you felt just about your consistency and making those kind of measurable improvements that you've seen like every Friday or Saturday?
I've been very happy with it. In my opinion, that's probably the most important aspect of being a competitor, being consistent, because it's one thing to know what you're capable of, and it's another thing to know what you can expect to bring to the table each and every day. So I've been very happy with that. And we like I said before, we've still been trying to work out the kinks and work towards something bigger, and to be able to still have some success along the way while we're working towards those bigger marks. I mean, it's been great. It's been amazing.
I was curious also, what is it about the weight throw as opposed to the shot put that's enabled you maybe to have more success in the weight throw? What is it about that event as opposed to the shot that you have seemed to fit you maybe perhaps a little better? Or do you even agree with that necessarily?
I see where you're coming from. The shot put, it's very tough when you get to a certain level to try to be on top of both events. And the shot put has just been something pretty much my whole life that's been secondary. So you kind of want to put most of your efforts where your best chances are. And for me, that's been the weight throw and indoor and the discus throw outdoor. And I've been doing a lot of learning in both events, obviously, but I just feel like for me personally, the shot put has just had more of a learning curve. I used to be a glider coming out of high school, and I was switched to the rotational technique. And there's just been a lot of things coming with that. Some of it's physiological, you know, me being a little taller and learning how to navigate the ring and just learning the different mechanics of the throw. Whereas the weight throw, like I mentioned before, you don't really have time to think about those things. You know, you understand the mechanics of the throw, how it goes far, why it goes far, and then you pretty much have to throw yourself into the ring and see how it goes. So but the shot put, we've been working hard in the shot put as well, and I think that we've done a really great job of being able to get my better series in shot put when we need them most, like we did at Big 12s last year. And I think that we do a good job of keeping the main thing, and being able to come up big for the team in both events as we need to.
Got 1 minute left. Anybody got any more questions?
I might ask you, Gabe, how much you talked about how you learn every day, constantly learning in your events. How much has Coach Felkins helped you with that?
Oh, Coach Felkins has been tremendous in my learning process. He really does a good job of putting things in a perspective. And even though it really is a lifelong thing, he does a good job of reminding you that you're closer than you think and that there's always an answer. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And the process is different for everybody. So especially not been here for all 4 years, just having to be on an expedited course, I think he's done a great job of allowing me to feel confident very quickly while being able to learn. So essentially that's allowed me to go have some success in the meets while still knowing that I have a lot more in the tank.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Gabe.
Thank you. No problem.
Good job. Thanks, y'all, for jumping on.